Hey guys, Metal Viking 82 here, back to show some more plunder that I've acquired over the last little while. This is the second part of this Iron Fortress update. Like I said, I want to do these last two kind of by themselves because they're two compilations of a couple of really killer bands, and I want to kind of take my time talking about them a little bit more. First up, we have Spectral Voice with Necrotic Demos. And yeah, this is a doom death band out of Denver, Colorado. Been around since 2012, and this is basically a compilation of their 2015 Necrotic Doom demo, as well as tracks from various split 7 inches that they have put out. And I absolutely love this band. And they've got such a killer sound, especially on these demos and split songs. The drums just have that live in the rehearsal room feel to them, which isn't a bad thing at all. Solid performance overall on here, easily transitioning from the more mid-tempo beat to that slower beat, with the cymbals really standing out during those slower sections. I think they just were that just really stand out in the mix there. Thick and fuzzy bass that makes its presence felt throughout all these songs, despite not sticking out too much in the overall mix. Where you get into track number 2, Horrid Phantasm. It gets a brief moment at about 4:30 to itself as the guitars fade away there. And then in track number 5, Peeled Veins, the guitars and drums kind of fade out. And it's just the bass by itself briefly at about 2:47. And it just sounds so damn heavy during that section. The guitars on these songs they got that dirty, crunchy guitar tone to them. You get a great mix of the faster, almost tremolo picked riffs and the slow and ominous chugs. They're very unsettling and dissonant at times in those slower, heavier riffs. There's times that they kind of even give off a little bit of a Mortician vibe, such as the opening to track number 4, Slowly Claimed by Oblivion. The transitions, though, from the slow and crushing doom to the more up-tempo riffing, then back to just crushing you, is just so smooth, not clunky whatsoever. You also get some nice mid-paced, really heavy-sounding grooves to go along with everything else. In the lead-off track, Rotting Auras, about 5:46 into that song, there is this slow-picked riff that's just very ethereal sounding to me, and it really adds to the kind of overall ominous and just oppressive atmosphere of the song. Really great vocal variety on here, from the low-end growls to the wretches and the tortured and nasty sounding screams, as well as these kind of haunting yells, like a tortured soul. And then you get these creepy, kind of echoey whispers in track number 4, Slowly Claimed by Oblivion, right before this very ethereal, kind of echoey riff comes in to kind of finish off the song. And these are very long songs. I mean, there's like 5, 6 and up minutes in length here, but you're just so caught up in just their sheer weightiness and the oppressive nature of them and the doom and gloom of them, that you just really don't notice how long these songs are. They just flow so beautifully. This whole thing, this whole demo and all these songs from the splits just have this evil, haunting, and oppressive atmosphere, but I absolutely love it. If you're a fan of doom death, you gotta check out Spectral Voice. Definitely give this one a go, as well as their full lengths. And then my favorite of these two compilations, this was a band that I had discovered as a blind buy years and years ago, when we had some pretty decent music stores near where I live, and I don't have to travel very far to get to them. I found this band's lone full length in a used section. I've been a huge fan ever since, and that is Decomposed with Laid to Waste. This was put out by Dark Descent Records. I can't remember when I want to say this came out last year. I could be wrong, but I forgot to write it down. But yeah, these guys were a doom death band out of London, England, active between 1990 and 1993. And this is a compilation of their the Funeral Obsession EP from 1991, the Ego Sum Lux Mundi demo from 1991, the Inscriptions demo from 1993, and the Sermons of Morbidity demo from 1990, though they're all kind of backwards in order there. But yeah. You also get an unreleased demo from 1995, which is really cool to hear. And honestly, much like Spectral Voice, a very somber atmosphere definitely permeates all of these songs. And even though there's more up-tempo elements to these songs, the band just absolutely loves to slow down and just crush you under the weight of their riffs. Solid drum work throughout all of these songs. Really great patterns, rolls, and fills. I love the double bass and the blast beats on here. Got that thick bass that really gives everything that oomph without being too far out front in the mix, though it does get a little bit of a part to itself. And the third track on here, Lying and Stated, about 1:58 into the song. Crunchy, old school death metal toned guitars, fast-paced grooves, mixed with the more, heavy mid-paced grooves and the slow crushing riffs. Absolutely killer solos on here. When you get into track number 2, Spawn of Maternal Cadaver, at about 2:48 into that song, is a really good example of those slower, more mid-paced, kind of headbangable grooves. I love the double bass underneath that one in particular. Track number 3, Lying in State, has a nice death-like groove at about 1:35 in, as well as this really cool kind of acoustic-y sounding section at 2:26, and again right at the 3:14 mark, which really sounds somber right here. And I just love that really heavy sounding guitar riff that's over the top of the more acoustic sounding guitars. See here, track number 4, Taste the Dying. I got myself all backwards here. Yes, Taste the Dying. That is actually one of my favorite songs from the full-length album Hope Finally Died, that they put out. I think it was in 1991, I said. It was really cool to hear the demo version of that song, because like I said, that's one of my favorite songs from that album. The part where he's like, look at me and see that I am dying, and just the way he growls that line, and then it's followed by this heavy as fuck riff. And then the follow-up track, Inscriptions, track number 5, that's another favorite from that album that I loved hearing the demo version of. The vocals on here are just these killer low end growls with some real power to them, yet they're very intelligible. But you also get like a couple instances of some spoken word parts, which are kind of creepy. When you get into track number 6, Burials Part 1, this is where you kind of start to hear a little bit of a shift in production as far as the songs go. The drums sound a little bit different, kind of have a bit more of a raw sounding guitar tone. The bass really comes forward in the mix here, yet still sounds heavy as fuck. Has a little, quote unquote solo in that song at about 1:24, which leads to a really cool guitar riff. Then when you get into track number 10, Dying Diseased, things get even more raw and more organic. The vocals especially have that live in the rehearsal room feel. It sounds completely different from the rest of the songs. When you get into the unreleased demo from 1995, that's actually an all-instrumental demo, yet it still absolutely whoops ass. So even without the vocals, the songs were really awesome, really got the head moving, just really crushing and oppressive. And these are long songs, much like Spectral Voice. These guys wrote some really long songs, but they flow so nicely that you do not realize how long the songs have been going on. And that is a real good sign of a good songwriter. The band, like I said, did split up. They actually changed their name. And I think that band actually only put out like one demo or something like that, and then they split up completely. So I don't know what anybody in the band is doing these days. But yeah, go check this out. An absolutely killer compilation from an amazing doom death band I think more people need to listen to. And yeah, that is going to do it. Thank you guys so much for watching and subscribing. And until next time, stay brutal.